time for another edition of Cumberland Country right here on WCHQ 100.9 FM. And we have a very special show tonight. It is our 5th year anniversary, and we've got our surprise. We're doing the Throwback Thursday if you're into that, social media thing. We've got Mickey Clark live on the show along with Marty Miller and Dale Perry. Now, Mickey and Marty were my first guests way back 5 years ago. We were in a different studio, and I'm glad to have you guys back.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here, CJ.
Yes, sir. And, we're going to be talking to Mickey about, what he does and maybe going over some memories. Because, Mickey, you and I met, I don't know if you remember, at that bowling alley joint on Story Avenue.
Burning
Lanes. You were actually doing a WCHQ fundraiser, and I hadn't actually started my show yet, but I went to the fundraiser and I met you and talked to you, and I think I gave you a business card and I said, I want you, to be on my show. And of course, I think it was just a few months later you were on the show.
Yeah.
So, I want to kick off the show with a live tune, and I think you guys got a Christmas theme song for us.
Yeah, I got a song that I wrote with my buddies Bruce Birch, Steve Clark, and Johnny McRae, and this was on the Oak Ridge Boys' first Christmas album.
All right.
It's called Christmas Carol. Like a fixture down on Main Street, she stood there all year long, with a tin cup and a tambourine, singing Christmas songs. Thought the deed was crazy, but they loved to hear her sing. Dropped some money in her cup, and she'd shake that tambourine. And they called her Christmas Carol. There's not a Christmas song she couldn't sing. I remember Christmas Carol with her snow white hair and a beat-up tambourine. She wore that same old ragged coat all the year around, lived all alone in a little shack just outside of town. She'd stand there singing jingle bells in the heat of the summertime. Guess every day was Christmas in Carol Johnson's mind. And they called her Christmas Carol. There's not a Christmas song she couldn't sing. I remember Christmas Carol with her snow white hair and a beat-up tambourine. Oh, but I can still remember that twinkle in her eye, 'cause Carol kept a secret from the people passing by. That secret was the mystery they talked about so long, how each Christmas Eve those gifts showed up outside the children's home. Well, that was 40 years ago, or 50, I believe. Still, those toys keep showing up each year on Christmas Eve. I wonder if we'll ever know just who took up the cause. Is it still Christmas Carol, or is it Santa Claus? And they called her Christmas Carol. There's not a Christmas song she couldn't sing. I remember Christmas Carol with her snow white hair and a beat-up tambourine. With her snow white hair and a beat-up tambourine.
All right, Mickey Clark live on Cumberland Country on WCHQ 100.9 FM, our 5-year anniversary show, Christmas Carol. I like that. You know, how long have you guys been playing together, Dale, Mickey, and Marty?
Been 9 full years, I believe, in November with
Right.
me.
Yeah, we started what?
I'm Dale.
07? 07, I think.
07. November
Yeah.
of 07 is when I started with Mickey.
9
Gotcha.
years, yeah, and Marty
Gotcha.
about 8 years.
Right.
7 or 8?
I mean, you just nail those harmonies. It's pretty
Those
amazing.
guys are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mickey, I've done a little research, and I actually went back to my research that I did 5 years ago. So,
Okay.
you know, I'm gonna throw some stuff at you. You had a paper out in 8th grade, and there was a songwriter on your. Somebody told you about a songwriter on your route.
Oh, yeah, when I was helping deliver papers, a lady that lived on Whiteway Avenue, Chilton Price,
Right.
she wrote some songs with Pee Wee King. She wrote Slowpoke and You Belong to Me. And,
Right. And you got your first guitar right here in Louisville at S.E. Davis, which is still around. A $14 custom craft guitar.
That's right.
Is that
I
right?
had was down here on a basketball trip with St. Joe College playing Bellarmine, and I bought my first guitar on a basketball road trip.
Right. The Goliards. What is that?
Well, it's kind of weird. When I was in college, I don't know, we came up with this name for a folk trio my senior year,
Right.
the Goliards, and I just recently looked up Goliardic verse, and apparently the music that they use, Orf, the Goliards
Right.
back in medieval times helped inspire the Orff music. Kinda
Gotcha.
weird, but anyway, it was kind of like irreverent college students
Right.
back in the medieval times.
And you also did comedy monologues.
Yeah, when I was in college, I tried to make a.
I didn't know about that.
I did a.
You're still trying comedy.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but couldn't find any place where
Right.
it stood up.
That's funny. So well, I'm glad you decided on music, actually.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we played with Larry and Marita in New York, did a guest set at the bitter end, and I told a joke and told it totally backwards. I told the punchline first, and then proceeded
Right.
to tell the rest of the joke. And we went to see Teddy Brooks the next day in his office. We walked in, he says, "And I don't want to hear any of your damn jokes."
Right. You know, I got an interesting message here from our friend Perry Jurin. He's in Australia.
Australia, yeah, right.
And he's listening. He told me tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. right now.
Weird.
It's Friday there, and he's listening. So hey, Perry,
Hey,
all the way
Perry.
from
Hey,
Australia.
Perry.
Back to the future.
Absolutely. So we're gonna play a cut right now. We're gonna play Sarah. Now this, as I said, you were on my show 5 years ago, and this is the first cut we played. And you were telling me something about that song that was supposed to make you, world famous.
Yeah, Peter Yarrow produced a group called Jericho Harp, and he told me that this is going to be their first single on United Artists, and I think in 1977. He said, "Mickey, this song is going to break open your career like John Denver's Leaving on
Right.
a Jet Plane did for him."
Sure.
I'm still waiting on a runway.
Right. I don't say you've flown a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's give it here. Listen, here's Mickey Clark with Sarah on Cumberland Country.
Oh, Sarah, don't mail me no lines. I want to hear them from you face to face. Oh, Sarah, come on home and love me. Let's put the pieces back in place. Sarah didn't leave nothing behind but the patches on my faded jeans and a shirt that she sewed a rainbow on, and I gone to Colorado dreams. Oh, Sarah, don't mail me no lines. I wanna hear them from you face to face. Oh, Sarah, come on home and love me. Let's put the pieces back in place. Several songs are still ringing and rhyming, but the harmony part is gone. There's blackberries clinging to the vine we could bring in if she'd only come home. Whoa, Sarah, don't mail me no lines. I wanna hear them from you face to face. Whoa, Sarah, come on home and love me. Let's put the pieces back in place. Seems like she's been with me long as I can remember. July without her, it's a blackberry winter. Oh, Sarah, don't mail me no lines. I wanna hear them from you face to face. Oh, Sarah, come on home and love me. Let's put the pieces back in place. Oh, Sarah, don't mail me no lines. I wanna hear them from you face to face. Oh, Sarah, come on home and love me. Let's put the pieces back in place. Oh, Sarah. Oh, Sarah.
All right, Mickey Clark, Sarah on Cumberland Country. 5-year anniversary of Cumberland Country here on WCHQ 100.9 FM. And Mickey is here, as he was 5 years ago, along with Marty Miller and Dale Perry. So, Mickey, we were talking a little off the air before we started the show. You got a mention in a book written about Bob Dylan by the editor of Rolling Stone, Ben Fong Torres. The book was called, what was it? Knocking on Dylan's Door, right?
Yeah.
And I believe he was asking, Bob Dylan was going to start a record label. And he was asking who he would put on the label. And you take it from there.
Yeah, he had come into a club where in Chicago called the Earl of Old Town. He and 3 guys from the band came in the night before they were to start their 1974 tour in Chicago, and they came in and stayed for the whole set and left after the set, and didn't get a chance to meet him. But 6 months later, I'm playing a gig in Wyoming, and a friend of mine out there said, "Mickey, do you know Bob Dylan?" I said, "No, not really." I said, "He came into a club where I played." He said, "Well, he mentioned you in a book out about his tour."
Right.
I thought this guy was crazy. But anyway, I found the book, Knocking on Dylan's Door.
Right.
And he had mentioned Leon Redbone as somebody he wanted to put on the label, and then he was asked who else, and he said a couple of guys in Chicago, Mickey Clark and another Mickey,
Right.
Mickey being Mickey White.
Right.
And unfortunately, Dylan never started the label.
Right.
It was going to be called Ashes and Sand. So,
that's a cool story, and I was also talking to you about this on there, and I want to mention it because, we get a lot of local musicians who listen in, and Bill Eade is very well known, as you are, in this area, and we were out at Air Devil's Inn 2 Tuesdays ago for Nate Toomas's open mic out there, and Bill came by, and me and Chris Moondog Hall were there, and we played, and Bill played, and then the open mic ended, and we find ourselves sitting at this corner booth talking to Bill. And you can talk to Bill about music for hours.
For sure.
And we actually were there till 2 a.m.
Oh, it's always interesting.
And Mickey came up, and we mentioned that book, and Bill goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, get in that case, unzip that. And I unzipped it. And he had the book. I handed it to him, and he showed us the exact page where they mentioned you. So that was kind of I don't know. That was kind of fateful, I guess. Let's go ahead and play another live tune.
All right, this is a tune written by Utah Phillips. It's on the Reasons and Rhymes CD. Best song I ever heard about a homeless person. I look at my brown suitcase and I think of all the places that I've been. The railroad yards, the prison guards, all the dumpy little towns along the stand. And the whispering of the people as they watch every move that I go through. I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you. The buckskin smells of the people tells as we're huddled in the corner from the rain. The flashing lights that cut the night and the railroad bulls that pull us from the train. When the winter's cold and the norther blows, I'm huddled in the boxcar till I'm blue. I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you. The winter streets where the frozen sleet comes soaking through the cardboard in my shoes. Where the promised land might be a place where a man could find free cigarettes and booze. And the alleyways full of ragged strays and doorway wine I tell my troubles to. I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you.
Mickey Clark live on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM, our 5-year anniversary show. And Mickey's here with Dale Perry and Marty Miller. And another great song. You guys are nailing it tonight. Sounds great. I appreciate you being here. Mickey, I want to talk about your writing, okay? Do you have a writing process? Do you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write another Mickey Clark song?
Not really. I don't know. It seemed like when I was living in Nashville, I was doing a more like every day try to do some
Right.
kind of, but I don't. Lately, I haven't
Done that.
Different process. I mean, sometimes the chorus came while I was driving on the way to a coffee
Right.
house gig in Madison, Wisconsin, many years ago.
Gotcha. Now, you are a songwriter. You've got several cuts. You've got a couple with the Oak Ridge Boys. What else?
Jerry Lee Lewis recorded a song that Jim Zerfus and I wrote called "The Daughters of Dixie."
All right.
Glenn Yarborough recorded 3 songs on an album on Stax Records. Unfortunately, at the time the album came out, it was right before Stax went under.
Right. I gotcha. So, do you have any advice to songwriters? I mean, do you need to go to Nashville?
It's certainly a great place to learn from the best writers around. You
Right.
certainly have a chance to. And living in Nashville, when I was living there, I was playing gigs on the road. I was spending more time on the road, really, than in Nashville.
Right.
It's hard to find gigs that will pay your way.
Sure. In
Nashville?
Yeah.
If you can just be there, if you go there not expecting to make enough money playing gigs,
Right.
Maybe do something else that you may not want to do, but if you're there, if you really want to learn and just hang out and meet
Right.
people and learn the co-writing process and
Gotcha. So, you were in Nashville. I mean, it's been some time ago, the 70s.
I moved there in early 71.
Gotcha. I'm going to ask you a question, and feel free to not comment because I know you still have some friends down there. But what do you think of the music coming out of Nashville now, the mainstream
The mainstream
music.
I'm not real enamored with.
Right.
But I like the stuff that bubbles under, all the great people
Sure.
that are there that you're not
Right.
hearing on the radio.
All right. Well, can you name a few?
Oh, Doug and Talisha Williams, that would be...
Very good.
Who else? Sam Lewis.
Okay. What do you
The
think?
Black Lilies.
Right.
People like that.
What do you think of our Kentucky boys, Sturgill Simpson and Chris Stapleton?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very well representing the state.
Right.
Yeah, incredible singers and songwriters.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and play another live one. What are you guys going to play for me?
Oh, let's see here. What were we talking about? Do Reasons and Rhymes? This is kind of my music autobiography and a tribute to my wife, Sandy, and our son, Brennan. I'm a victim of the picking, gotta keep my ticker ticking, 'cause there's always one more song I wanna write. Got a woman who's been with me since way back in the 60s, and she seems to understand the picker's plight. She puts up with my addiction to poems, truth, and fiction, but she wonders where I am sometimes when I'm out riding midnight fences in those neon circumstances, rounding up new reasons and rhymes. Guess it goes back pretty far when I got that first guitar for $14 at the pawn shop downtown. It was not a well-known brand, and even though it hurt my hand, I knew that I was hooked on the sound. of a 6-string acoustic. I knew I had to play my music and follow my heart on down the line. I'm still riding midnight fences in those neon circumstances, reining in new reasons and rights. The village singers, we hit the trail in 64 to Lauderdale, where the girls were and folk music too. It was back when that mighty wind did blow, before their first Ed Sullivan show, when the Beatles rocked the music world we knew. We headed up to New York City in that old 54 Chevy, to the village in the heart of those changing times. We were riding midnight fences in those neon circumstances, turning on to new reasons and rights. I played in Nashville and Chicago, Austin, Philly, and Toronto, but I found that there's no place like home. Me and my wife have a son, I've been blessed in what I've done. Playing music now's a treasure all its own. I admit my addiction to poems, truth, and fiction, but I wonder where I'm going sometimes when I'm out riding midnight fences in those neon circumstances, rounding up new reasons and rights. I'm still riding midnight fences in those neon circumstances, reining in new reasons and rights.
Mickey Clark with Dale Perry and Marty Miller live on Cumberland Country, our 5th anniversary show here on WCHQ 100.9 FM. Thanks, guys. Sounded great.
Oh, thank you,
All
CJ.
right. This is a part of the show where I usually, ask my my artists about their aspirations. Now, you've done a whole lot. You've played a lot of places with a lot of different artists. Is there anywhere, in your years of playing that you haven't played that you would, really like to play? I call them bucket list gigs.
I'd love to be able to do Grand Ole Opry.
Right.
Who wouldn't?
Sure. That's mine. That's at the top of my list.
Well,
Yeah,
we played
man.
in front of it.
Yeah, we did. We actually rehearsed inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you play in front of the Grand Ole Opry?
Right after the Winding Highways came out, they had, I guess it used to be called Fanfare down in Nashville. We played
Country
down there.
Music Week.
Yeah, Country Music Week.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So we got to do some songs down there.
Good deal. What was that?
Matter of fact, the guy that manages the Ryman Auditorium, he says, "Aren't you Dale Perry?"
Right.
True story.
Yeah. Turned out that they were from the same hometown. Dale had beaten his brother out for quarterback, and he's
Oh yeah. So Dale's a football guy, huh?
yeah.
He said he's still mad, too.
Gotcha. Did I ask you, advice for songwriters? You were doing it? Yeah. You told me? Yeah. Okay. I got you. Let's go ahead and play a cut here. What have I got lined up? This is one of my favorite songs of yours, just because it's funny and you've got a lot of a guest vocalists on this. Tell me about "Don't Piss on My Boots and Tell Me It's Raining."
Yeah, my buddy Jim Zerfus and I wrote the song together, and anyway, I asked John Prine if he would sing on it.
Right.
Jim Rooney was producing, and Jim, who produced my 2009 CD and the one that came out a couple years ago, he and John Prine are very good friends, so
Right.
that certainly helped having Jim as the producer.
Sure.
Jerry Jeff and Kinky Friedman, I asked them, and they said they would do their thing.
Good
John
deal.
actually came in the studio in Nashville and sang his part.
Right.
And then Kinky and Jerry Jeff went in the studio in Austin and recorded theirs at a studio there and digitally fired it
There
back
you
up
go.
to Nashville.
Good deal. All right, so here's Mickey Clark. Don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining.
Well, the man down at the Auto Mart said he had a perfect ride for me. A low mileage one on a beauty that's pristine clean. I only driven to church on Sunday, parked inside a garage all week. I said, buddy, you're slicker than a sugar's oil dripping out from underneath. I said, don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining. 'Cause you know this ain't my first rodeo. You got that doing love. It hits a page from that age-old playbook. Why don't you take his car and stick it where the sun don't glow?
I could tell the politician was lying, 'cause his lips, they were moving, asking me for my vote on my TV. Well, it sure plumb hard to swallow that snake oil that he's selling, and I sure ain't gonna bet the ranch on those tall tales that he's telling. I said, don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining. 'Cause you know this ain't my first rodeo. You got that do me in love. It's a page from that age-old playbook. I can't vote for you or any other Larry Curly or Moe.
I saw that.
Thought she was pure as the driven snow.
She snowed you.
She wanted me to marry her and live real large.
That large part, watch it. I happened on her MySpace
And her YouTube expose.
I saw that too.
I said, honey, you sure do look real good.
You look good, baby.
But I got other trails to blaze.
I said, don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining. 'Cause you know this ain't my first rodeo. I got that do me in love. It's a page from an age-old playbook. I sure ain't your man. Go find yourself a gigolo. If I make it to the pearly gates and I get to meet my maker,
What are you gonna say?
I guess it'll be my time to come real clean.
Clean as the driven snow.
Well, I know that I ain't been perfect,
Yes, you've been close.
and on that final judgment day,
Watch out.
there won't be no white lies told, 'cause I don't wanna hear him say, yeah, I don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining.
Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord.
'Cause you know this ain't my first rodeo. I got that do me in love. It's a page from an age-old playbook. I'm sorry, cowboy, but they're waiting for you down below. Everybody singing now. I said, don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining.
Oh, Lord, Lord.
'Cause you know this ain't my first rodeo. I got that do me in love. It's a page from an age-old playbook. It's time to hit the trail. I gotta get it out and go.
Mickey Clark and the Blue Norther. Don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining here on WCHQ 100.9 FM. Cumberland Country, the 5th anniversary show. And if you just joined us, Mickey actually was my first guest 5 years ago, along with Marty Miller. And he's here tonight with Marty and Dale Perry. And a lot has happened in 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
And we were talking before, it seems like it just flew by. But you've put out another album since then, and you've tell me a little bit about your association with John Prine, because he sung on this cut, and you said you met him back in Chicago, but you got the opportunity to go up on stage with him, you know, more than once. And
yeah, when I used to play in Chicago at the Earl of Old Town, that was one of the places that John played with, as well as Steve Goodman, and I got to know both of them back in the 70s there, and didn't know John. I knew Steve better than John, and but with Jim's association with Jim Rooney's association with John, helped get him to sing on the record.
Right. You know, Steve Goodman, obviously, you know, a great songwriter, and he's probably most well known for the David Allan Coe cut, and. You know, a lot of people don't know, and I'm sure you do, that John Prine co-wrote that song.
Well, I was with Steve the night that he met David Allan Coe.
Right.
Steve was playing the Exit Inn, and I picked Steve up at the airport, took him to the gig at the Exit Inn, and that night David Allan Coe came in and introduced himself, and after Steve's show, Steve and David Allan and I went out to breakfast, and David Allan Coe invited himself to Steve's house for the 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Good old David Allan Coe. I got a chance to meet and hang out with him a little bit about 3 years ago here in Louisville after he had his car accident out in Florida. They did a benefit up here. And he's an interesting guy to hang out with for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play another song. I want to make sure we get a couple more before 7:30. What are you going to play for us now?
Well, let's do one that we did 5 years ago.
All right.
Waddy, Paytone.
There you go.
The two towns halfway between Louisville and Lexington.
And every time I go down that road, I think of Mickey Clark.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of sort of a joke. I'd never been to either town. I said, this will be a challenge to write a song about two towns I've never been to. So I did that little experiment, had two verses and a chorus, and John Gage calls me about a week and a half later. He said, Mickey, he said, did you see an article in the paper? I said, no. He said, there's an article about they changed the exit sign and no longer says Waddy Paytone.
Right.
He said, you got to write another verse. So I did. And it became a protest song.
Right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I've done a lot of traveling. Around this world it keeps unraveling. From coast to coast, across the ocean and beyond. We can't always smell the roses, even under our own noses. There's places I miss this side of the pond. Like two towns not so far from here off Highway 64 that I've driven by and pondered on 1,000,000 times or more. I've been to Cheyenne and Daytona, never Waddy Paytone, but someday I'll be a-knocking on your door. It's not fair to judge two towns just by their names that you'll discover on that sign there at exit 43. It ain't right to poke fun at two towns that I ain't been at, whose names have so much mystery and intrigue. I know I should cease and desist, but I could not resist to write a tune, kill two birds with one song. I've been to Rome and Barcelona, never Waddy Paytone, those twin cities that to me are parts unknown. Waddy Paytone, not out west in Arizona, right here in the bluegrass of OKY. So close but yet so far away, I'm gonna visit you someday. Instead of passing by you by and by. Let's pick it, boys. going to get to that protest verse. Marty Miller playing very fine bass. Well, I heard the news now going around. There's a controversy in those towns that unflip the names on that eastbound exit sign. Yeah, they say some ruling body got their panties in a waddy, and they made that switch when everything was fine. If a sign ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way it ought to be. It's been like that since way back before 1963. So beam me up now, Scotty, 'cause it ain't Paytone or Waddy. It's Waddy Paytone, if you please. Waddy Paytone, not out west in Arizona, but right here in the bluegrass of OKY. So close but yet so far away. I'm gonna visit you someday. Instead of passing by you by and by, I'll drink a toast with a Corona when I reach Waddy Paytone. Someday I know that's where I'm gonna be. I offer my apology to folks in that topography, but everybody's gotta be somewhere.
Mickey Clark with Dale Perry and Marty Miller here on WCHQ 100.9 FM, Cumberland Country, our 5th year anniversary. Has anybody from any of those cities approached you at any
Both
shows? Or
Yeah, right. Yeah, it seemed like people, when we do that song, people will come up a lot of times and they've got a Waddy Paytone
Right.
story. Everybody seemed like something has happened at that
Right.
exit,
Well, I think there should be a music festivals,
I think somebody
headlining.
does have
Yeah,
a
somebody
festival
does. Yeah, you ought to be headlining that one there, Mickey.
They said somebody I ran into said, Waddy done swallowed up Paytone.
Right. So I want to talk about your live show. You play a lot around town. Sometimes full band, sometimes duo, trios. What's a Mickey Clark show like? What can people expect when they come to see you play?
Well, I do some, some old folky stuff, having come through that, and some originals and
Right.
other people's songs that I like. There's too many good songs around to limit to my own songs.
I got you. So besides Marty Miller here and Dale Perry, who else makes up the band?
Well, Chip Bush has played mandolin the last couple of years, and Jory Hutchins on fiddle, but he's with the group now called Jericho Wolf.
Right.
They're doing very well.
They
He's
are.
played with us a few weeks ago, but if he's got a hole in his schedule, he'll join us.
There you go.
Occasionally.
And occasionally, Mr. Mike Cleveland will
Yeah,
play
Michael
fiddle
Cleveland,
for
yeah.
you. Yeah, 10-time. I always joke with Mike, call him the 10-time International Bluegrass Music Association Fiddle Player of the Year.
I know,
Yeah.
10 times.
Yeah.
When I first came with the band, it was Tom Cunningham.
Yeah.
Right, Tom.
Well, then Nathan Lavers comes with Michael,
That's
and he's
right.
an
What a package.
extraordinary
Right.
musician.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So Mickey, who would you say influenced you to pick up the guitar and leave? You were studying what, finance or?
I was a math major undergraduate and went to Purdue to get a master's in statistics.
Okay.
And first week I was there, I met a freshman who played 12-string guitar. He was from Chicago and really writing good songs at that time. And we ended up getting to a talent show at Purdue and got some job offers to play fraternity parties and sorority parties on campus. So we started doing that and dropped out of graduate school and
All right.
started playing music.
The rest is history, I guess. Yeah. So we're gonna play one more cut, and then we're gonna come back and talk, and we're gonna probably close out with a very. When I heard you play the song "Tumblin' Tumbleweed" one night out live, I mean, it's just. I think actually Marty's wife was singing some harmony too.
Yeah.
But we're gonna play Tijuana Tequila. What can you tell me about that song, Mickey?
It's one of those songs that I had written quite a while ago when I was getting ready to do this album. I kind of said, I haven't done that song for a long time.
Sorry.
I need to dig that one out again. So I
Right.
Kind of relearned it and recorded it.
Gotcha. Well, here's Mickey Clark with Tijuana Tequila on Cumberland Country.
Well, the rumors were flying and I called her lying. I was dying to leave L.A. So I headed on down to Tijuana, bound to get away. Soon the tequila was flowing and my barbell was growing, but the dice, they were rolling my way. I was drinking my last one, saw 'em pulling a fast one, and I had to pay for Tijuana tequila. That's what I ordered to forget that woman north of the border. Tijuana tequila, it lit my desire, and it took me from the frying pan right into the fire. Well, I was drunker than sin when I met a man who said he could send for his sister. Juana, she's good, you know. She used to dance with the show. How about it, mister? Yeah, Juana had us some toast. We made love and we joked, and neither one of us spoke for a while. She sold me some grass. They busted my ass and she smiled. Tijuana tequila, hey, it's the devil's water. It got me in one hell of a mess south of the border. Tijuana tequila, I couldn't deny her. She took me from the frying pan right into the fire. They're stealing my mail, I'm still waiting to bail out of here. But Wanda comes down and she's handling around, now it's clear. She'll go to bail for me if I will agree to take her with me to L.A. She's softly speaking and I'm starting to weaken today. I'm drinking Juana's tequila, she's the devil's daughter. She got me in one hell of a mess south of the border. Tijuana tequila, the flames are getting higher. She took me from the frying pan right into her fire. Tijuana tequila, ole! More salt, more lime.
All right. Arriba! That was Mickey Clark, Tijuana Tequila, and we are live on WCHQ 100.9 FM. This is Cumberland Country, our 5th year anniversary show, and we're here with my guests from 5 years ago, Mickey Clark, along with Marty Miller and Dale Perry. And I wanted to mention, and our friend Kevin Jenkins has written a brand new song called Gatlinburg, and it's inspired and dedicated to the victims of the fire in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So if you'd like information on how to donate to help the victims, you can go to dollywoodfoundation.org, and I encourage you to do that and listen to WCHQ for Kevin's song Gatlinburg. So, Mickey, we're almost out of time. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Where can my listeners find more out about Mickey? Maybe pick up a CD or whatever. Do you have a website or social media?
Yeah, website, MickeyClark.com, and then Facebook, Mickey Clark Music. And my website, I've got bio stuff. And you can order the CDs on my website or come out to gigs.
Right. So, what's in store for Mickey Clark? I mean, any new studio work in the near future?
Nothing. I don't think I'm gonna demo up one of Bill Huglin's songs.
Okay.
And
good old Bill.
Sing that for him. Yeah.
I don't know if you're on social media on Facebook much, but Bill's been getting.
You're right.
He's been getting some guff about his profile picture from that he posted, and I actually got in on that too. For you guys who aren't listening or aren't listeners, he posted an old Facebook picture of he kind of had curly hair and a mustache, and people were what's it called, photoshopping that onto various pictures. So that was a lot of fun. So we promised that you were gonna play out a song that I think I first heard. I think you were playing Manny and Merle, or now it's Merle's Whiskey Kitchen. Did you know they changed the name?
Yeah, I knew they changed the name. Yeah.
And I remember, I was talking to somebody, and then you started hitting those harmonies on this song, and I just turned around and I was in awe. So Tumble and Tumbleweed, right?
From the Sons of the Pioneers originally. See them tumbling down, pledging their love to the ground. Lonely but free I'll be found, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed. Cares of the past are behind, nowhere to go but I'll find just where the trail will wind, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed. I know when night is gone, there's a new world's born at dawn. I'll keep rolling along, deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed. I know when night is gone, there's a new world's born at dawn. I'll keep rolling along, deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed, drifting along with the tumbling, tumbleweed.
as my old Uncle Dallas says, if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. Mickey Clark live on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM. Our 5-year anniversary show, and of course, Mickey Clark is back after 5 years, and along with Marty Miller, who was there 5 years ago, and we got Dale Perry. Let's go ahead and book December 5 years from now. Let's go ahead and put that one in your books. All right.
You got it.
So, do you have any gigs coming up you'd like to mention, Mickey?
I'm doing a solo thing on Friday nights at Mango's.
Okay.
And hopefully we're going to try to book some more trio gigs around here after the first of the year.
Good deal. And I want to thank you once again. Once again, Dale Perry, Mickey Clark, and Marty Miller. Marty, you got anything you want to plug? You good?
I think I'm good, yeah.
Marty plays with a couple different groups.
That was getting ready to say.
Dale
I was
as
giving him
well.
a chance to, get some airtime there. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
What about you, Dale? You're just
Well, Marty and I are playing every Wednesday night at the Fiesta
that's
Mexicana in
right. Okay.
Washington.
there you go.
We were only there last night,
Good deal. Once again,
along with Teresa Tuck. Let me put that
good
in there,
deal.
too. She's
What's
singing with us.
mention your website one more time in case
It's
you weren't listening.
MickeyClark.com, MICKEY,
Good deal.
Clark, CLARK.com.
Gotcha. So, again, this was the 5-year anniversary of Cumberland Country here on WCHQ. Thank you guys for being
Hey, thanks for having us here, CJ. Thank you, Kathy, for
Thanks, CJ.
what you do with the community, the music community with Crescent Hill Radio.
Absolutely. Kathy Weisbach, the godfather here at WCHQ. I want you to stick around and tune in at 8 p.m. to Hippy Head Spotlight. Tonight, Hippy Head has Hannon live on the air, and we'll see you next week here on. Actually, I think next week on WCHQ we have the classical live. Is that correct, Kathy? Is that the? Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, we'll be back next week on Cumberland Country, and you guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks, CJ.
Let's take a look at the WCHQ concert view for Thursday, December 15th. All right, folks, got a few shows for you on this chilly Thursday. I'm going to start you out at Gersto's place, where you can go and see the War Painties. Down at Louie Louie's J-Boys Music Showcase. Over at Merle's Whiskey Kitchen tonight, Mr. Nate Thomas. Over at Goodwood Brewing tonight, it's live local Thursdays with my old buddy Tom Boone. Spinelli's downtown will have Blood Planet, Tycoon of the Teen, Ghost Teeth, and Beach Days. Down at the Levee at the river is Ginny and the Jets. And if you don't feel like getting out on this chilly night, stick right here on WCHQ to the Hippy Head Spotlight with co-host Miss Kelly Newton, where they will feature the live music of Hannon.
This has been your WCHQ Concert View. If you've got a show you'd like to let us know about, go to CrescentHillRadio.com and hit the icon at the top of the screen that says List Your Gig.
Next up, Penn Bogart.
Almost Christmas, sit alone and crying. Baby left me and I don't know why. Santa, bring her back in your sack. Swear there'll be some changes made. Come home from my job, I'm a hard-working man. Walk in the front door, heard my back door slam. Santa, bring her back in your sack. Swear there'll be some changes made. Christmas makes you happy, why my I'm feeling sad. Lost best woman that I ever had. Santa, bring her back in your sack. Swear there'll be some changes made. Old fish in the ocean, old waves in the sea, won't catch you with the trouble.